Madam Speaker. And carrying on with this line of question, the Minister of Transportation has commissioned 4 Confederation Trail workshops and an online survey, as we've heard, to quote, help shape policy decisions concerning the use of the Confederation Trail. And at the meetings, ATV riders are asking for full access to the trail as opposed to the ability to just cross it, especially in areas that are perceived as low usage, where it is difficult to build and dedicated ATV trails. In fact, many of my constituents are concerned that the workshops were set up at the request of the ATV lobby with this end in mind. It would be, Madam Speaker, it would be very helpful to know what the current usage is in terms of number of pedestrians, runners, cyclists, horses, etc., for different segments of the trail. So a question to the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure. Can you table statistics regarding the current use of the Confederation Trail?
Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And the first thing, Madam Speaker, that I would like to address is the comment that the honourable member made that these workshops were as a result of a request from the ATV Federation. Madam Speaker, nothing could be further from the truth. Shortly after coming into the position as Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, I had the opportunity, I reached out to the Snowmobile Association, to the Trail Riders Association, Madam Speaker, and yes, to the ATV Federation. Also, I've had numerous conversations with Islanders right across the province, Mr. Speaker, with regard to the usage and the importance of the Confederation Trail. And Madam Speaker, that is what brought about, that is what precipitated me initiating this public consultation. And Madam Speaker, again, as I said previously, I don't think it's ever a bad thing to solicit and receive input, feedback from everyday Islanders on any issue. Thank you.
Yeah, member for Restheimer will do for supplementary.
Madam Speaker, and that's good to know, Madam Speaker. And just to be clear, what I'm hearing from my constituents, many of them, is that they believe that ATVs should not share the Confederation Trail with pedestrians and cyclists. They believe it's too dangerous. However, most are not against ATVs on PEI. With a dedicated ATV trail from tip to tip and the safe ability for ATVs to access restaurants, accommodations, and fueling stations, there is a huge opportunity to grow ATV use on PEI, especially when it comes to year-round tourism by ATV riders. So another question to the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure. What funding initiatives and supporting legislation regulations are you considering to support a dedicated ATV trail from tip to tip with safe access to restaurants, accommodations, and fueling stations?
The Honourable Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And, you know, I do appreciate the honourable member referencing safety. That always has to be paramount in any decisions that are made, and whether it's with regard to trails, whether it's with regard to our highway system, any of the various aspects, Madam Speaker, that fall under my Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. With regard to the ATV Federation, I have to give them full kudos for the initiatives that they have taken in working with my department on certain pilot trails right across the province, but in certain areas, certainly in the western part, but in different areas of the province. And I do agree with the honourable member that there is tremendous opportunities here to work with the ATV Federation and to grow the tourism aspect of ATV. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Restheimer will do second supplementary.
And I hope the Minister does work with the ATV Federation, and I hope we do make some improvements and we seize this opportunity to make the island accessible to ATV riders and keep the Confederation Trail for cyclists and pedestrians. So, Madam Speaker, many also believe, like across the board, many people believe that the Confederation Trail is an underused resource. And that's why I asked for the stats at the beginning, and I hope you can get some of them. With more marketing improvements such as the addition of water stations and safe paths from the trail to restaurants and accommodations, the usage could be increased, especially by tourists. So a question to the Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture. What are your plans to support and promote cycling and pedestrian use of the Confederation Trail?
Minister of Fisheries, Tourism, Sport and Culture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So once I had seen these consultations taking place across the island, I'd asked what the usage is of the trail, and What the department told me is that about 16% of non-resident visitors use the Confederation Trail while they're here, some for like cycling or walking or hiking or whatnot. Obviously, we want to make sure that, I think what's important here is that I think the narrative that's gotten out there, and this decision falls within the Ministry of Transportation, but is that ATVs are going to be able to, you're going to jump on an ATV in Tignish and be able to take the trail right to Surrey, which I don't believe is going to happen. I don't think it should happen. But our department, through the Rural Growth Initiative, assists the ATV Federation in building their own trails, which we're more than happy to do, and we continue to do that. From what I understand, just from my time when I was in that department and in tourism now, we obviously want to protect that trail for pedestrians and cyclists, is that perhaps there's areas across the island, and I'm talking like maybe a few spots where ATVs might be looking to use a short section in a low volume traffic area to connect their trails at their existing trails. So they want to be able to connect those trails. That's what I gather they're trying to find. I think the narrative's kind of gotten away in the media out there, and people are rightfully getting concerned and sharing their feedback. So I think we don't have to all panic and think that there's going to be ATVs on the Confederation Trail everywhere. But our department's more than willing and happy to work with the Federation to develop their own trails. And it's also huge for winter tourism as well, and tourism in general out in the fall and other areas, because they bring in people from outside the province and they spend money here. So the ATVs generate tourism as well.
Any water station?